My flight on Air Canada from Dublin to Halifax was cancelled just hours before takeoff, so I had no other option but to book a double connection 36-hour flight to Bangor, Maine, so that I could ride my bike 1,650 kilometers through the eastern part of the United States and Canada to be in Toronto to collect my daughter from summer camp within 7 days. After arriving, I had breakfast, headed down to the local bike shop, bought the most essential item I need, learned some safety precautions around the local ticks, and finally got my bike ready. The next morning, the adventure finally began.
So I'm on day one. I'm about 70, 80 kilometers in. I left really early and I just didn't expect it to be so cold. So I had to stop, put all my clothes on and started riding again, and then it started to get warm. So now I'm slowly taking the layers off. First day goal is to go from Bangor, Maine, across the border into Canada, New Brunswick, and get to Woodstock, find a Tim Hortons. I might stop in Woodstock. Here's the border. So I just made it to the Canadian border at New Brunswick, a place called Fosterville. There's no town, there's not even water. And I'm having mechanical issues. My derailleur is kind of sliding all over the place, which is really not good. I'm really just hoping to make it till I can find someone to help me fix it, because it's a special part I need, so I'm kind of worried.
I spent the next 60 kilometers in the deep, dark forest until I started finding civilization again. And just when I felt that all hope was lost, I found my first Tim Hortons in Canada and decided to call it a day there in the town of Woodstock.
Round 2!
So I took my essential vitamin and applied my ass magic, went straight to Tim Hortons, and then departed Woodstock, New Brunswick, heading towards Riviere-du-Loup in Quebec, a 320-kilometer bike ride away.
Good boy.
Oh, and New Brunswick has dogs.
Nice boy. So I'm here on day 2. I've already done a couple hundred kilometers today through New Brunswick, and I'm almost at the Quebec border. And now there's a famous trail called the Petit Temi Trail. Really nice quality. It's almost like really smooth. So I'll be on that now. Hello. Until I get to the St. Lawrence River, where I start turning left to head to Montreal. The weather in the morning, freezing, and it gets really hot. I think I'll be riding into the night tonight. Where I'm going now is a bit rural, but like I said, the trails are really good.
I pushed and pushed throughout the night, trying to arrive at a decent time. When I finally arrived, I was really relieved, knowing I could sleep now and then wake up and do it all again tomorrow. The next morning, semi-refreshed, I head out again.
So it's day 3, on my way to Quebec City now. Quite flat, farmland, really beautiful, it's very nice. This is what I'm dealing with today. Crazy headwind. I'm riding right into it. I looked in the forecast, it says it's 30-kilometer winds with gusts up to 50 kilometers. It's really tough. I can't seem to really get anywhere, so I don't know how far I'll get today.
For hours and hours, I battled the steady headwind until I finally reached the cycle paths leading into Quebec, and it was incredible. I even got to go on a ferry ride. Finally, I'd made it to Quebec City.
So I guess it's my day 4 now. I stayed in Quebec City last night. Luckily got a lot of sleep, so that really was good. And now I'm heading towards Montreal City. Don't know if I'll make it that far, but I'm gonna give it a go.
5 minutes later.
So I'm standing behind this bridge here, which you can see is got construction going on and it's closed. And for me to reroute around it, it's gonna be really far. So I'm gonna cross this river here. It's not too bad, except for the little forest up there. All right, well, it's fun times in Canada. Today it's raining all day. The headwind's not as bad as it was yesterday, but there's chance of thunderstorms. Looks like I'm gonna cross it rather. All right. Woo! Found a way to cross the bridge rather than hike through the river. Oh, that's where I'm going now.
1 hour later.
So I think I'm actually now caught in quite a proper storm. It's windy, it's raining. I don't think I want to continue the whole day in this. I've got waterproof socks on, but the water's still getting in, so I can feel like puddles of water in my shoes. This is just not worth it right now.
So I waited out the storm, was soaking wet, rode down the road, found myself Tim Hortons, and proceeded to use the bathroom to try and dry myself. After half an hour of questioning my life decisions, the skies opened up a bit, started to dry, and I head off towards Montreal. About 1,000 kilometers in at this stage, my derriere was starting to feel every bump.
So it's not a good situation. I've just come down this road for about an hour. It's a really dangerous road, actually. And it came to a dead end, or they're doing construction. So I just came up to see what it was like. I've still got about 90 kilometers to go. You can't cross. There's a sign there that says no cyclists. So I've got to turn around now and figure out how to get out of here. So I'm going to have to reroute now and figure out how to get to where I need to go. Because I'll probably have to route around. If you look here, it's all farmlands. And there's tons of traffic here. So yeah, this is a bit of a hiccup because I was doing good on my way. I was trying to get to Montreal by 10 o'clock. But now we'll see. Hopefully it won't slow me down too much. About 1 kilometer back. And it was so funny because when I turned around, I was not going the wrong way, but I had the tailwind. And it was so much nicer than riding this way. Oh shit, this is a really bad road.
So there's a section between Quebec and Montreal City where the roads are actually really, really dangerous, and I wouldn't want to cycle there again. On the other hand, we had great weather to try and dry my soaking wet bib shorts. Eventually, I found better roads and paths to cycle. I was getting closer to Montreal. Yay, the hotel! My heady steed and myself had fought the elements and were holding up well. Now I could recharge all my devices and try re-dry all my clothes again.
This is my feet now after 300 kilometers in the rain. It really, really hurts. And my shoes stink.
So the next morning I head out along the Montreal cycle paths, which are really busy with a lot of activity going on and all kinds of things to look at, on my way to the Ontario border and my final destination, Toronto.
So I'm here in Montreal. I got in here at about 10 o'clock last night. So far I'm on about 1,100 kilometers. The last 2 days, it's just been a total headwind the whole way. Yesterday was torrential downpours. Today I'm gonna hopefully cross into the Ontario border. I'm gonna make it to Brockville at least and make a call from there.
And my last stop in Quebec was to have poutine at a local poutineery. One of the great things about cycling between Montreal and Toronto is the extensive cycle network. I spent the next 40 kilometers on the Soulanger Canal Trail, making my way to the border.
I just thought I'd stop quick. This is the official border of Quebec. First town in Ontario.
And now that I was in Ontario, I knew that I could now ride the rest of the way along the Millennium Trail, which goes along the edge of Lake Ontario, all the way to Toronto. But what I didn't plan for was how deep in the forest it got at certain points, especially in the night.
So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've already been on the bike for a few hours. I stopped in a little town last night. I think it's called Mooresville, but I'm not entirely sure. I just stopped at the kind of a motel on the side of the road. I've got about just over 300 kilometers to go till I get to Toronto. And I think I'm just going to try push through. And that's it. So I say it's the final stretch, but it's still really, really far. 320 Ks is a long ride.
And seeing the 401 and the sign for Kingston, I knew I was getting close. And one of the highlights of the trip was coming up at the Thousand Island National Park, which has miles and miles of extensive, beautiful cycle paths in a beautiful forest. It was amazing. And as I inched closer to Toronto, I started to enter towns that I remember from my youth, towns I visited a long, long time ago, because I am actually a Canadian born in Toronto. And riding along the Millennium Trail all through the night with only my headlight guiding the way. And after the long, endless night, darkness turned into light and reminded me just how beautiful the coastline of Lake Ontario really is.
So I just thought I'd do another little update. I've reached Toronto, so I'm just kind of coming into the city now. I left Montreal like 48 hours ago, so it took me that long to get here. It was a very sketcy night. It's all bike paths, but in the night it's like in the middle of forest. There was a couple sketchy times there where I didn't feel so good. But anyway, we made it now. So that's it. Made it to Toronto.
I checked into an Airbnb apartment and spent the day on the balcony, dazed looking at the beautiful buildings. And finally my trusty steed could take a break. After 1,650 kilometers and only one puncture, we could both finally rest. And because I'd arrived a couple days early, I was there ready to pick up my daughter.
Yeah.
Good. This mission was complete.
Hello.
And it was time to go to the C&E. Thanks for watching.